Hello and welcome to TVC News this hour. We begin with development from the Lagos City Marathon. Edwin Kibet of Kenya has won the 10th Lagos City Marathon. He returned a time of 2 hours 14 minutes to emerge champion. Gyanyango Bui is the first Nigerian to cross the line at 2 hours 25 minutes. Meseret Hafa Guta is the winner of the marathon's women event. She clocked a time of 2 hours and 37 minutes. This year's race was too hot for defending champion for the women, Kebene Chala, who couldn't even pick a medal but finished in 10th place. Blessing Shambo is the first Nigerian woman to cross the line, while Elizabeth Power came second. And I'm being joined live in the studio, the senior correspondent, Solomon Ajuziugu. Yes, Solomon, the marathon, Lagos City Marathon held today, and I'm just wondering if you participated since you covered that event. How many runners participated this year?
This year we had over 30,000 of them who competed, but you know that the races, we have two races. You have the 42 kilometer, which is a full marathon, and then you have the 10 kilometers, and you always have more people in the 10 kilometers race, So the 42 kilometer is the one that is the big one, the tough one. It's so difficult. And that's where you have Kenyans, Ugandans, Ethiopians, Eritreans, and people from outside Nigeria come to compete in. The 10 kilometers is where fun runners and some local runners, because they get to win some outstanding prizes. So a lot of people come to do that one. You could get a car for winning that. You could, so fun runners take part in that. So for me, talking about whether I ran, well, covering a marathon, such a big event, a good level race for that matter, is as stressful as running the race itself, And all my feet, they are aching right now, standing for so long. For while you are covering the competition, you keep standing, from start to the finish, And they have to run from the National Stadium in Surulere, go through Ikorodu Road, then to Anthony, then go through Bagada, Charlie Boy to Iyanoworo, then come on the Third Mainland Bridge, then get into Osborne, eventually to Bodilon, where they now go over the Lekki Link Bridge, then get to the toll gates on Ozumbambadi, come out on Ozumbambadi way, before then negotiating their way through Victoria Island to Amadu Bello, then into Eko Atlantic City, where they stop the race. So it's such a tough race, and the Kenyans have won it again. Okay,
so I was going to ask that it's looking more like an all-Kenyan affair. I mean, this competition has been largely dominated by East, African, runners from Kenya. And talk to us more about Kibet's win. How did it happen?
Okay, so first, it is not surprising that Kenyans win this sort of race, or Ethiopians win it, or Eritreans win it. Sometimes Ugandans, because it is their fault. They are long-distance runners. Physiologically, there's always been the talk about their lungs, how big their lungs are, and how much they are able to retain air over a long period of time, how they are able to manage oxygen, because there are people who come from, well, you call them, they have a camp, we call it somewhere in Eldoret in Kenya, and it is the Rift Valley where, air oxygen consumption is a bit lower, so they can handle this sort of endurance thing. So, but the beautiful thing is that even though a Nigerian did not win, a Nigerian made the top 10. So if you have more than 15 East Africans, and there is a Nigerian who finished within the top 10, who actually finished 8th. That is a plus.
We had two Nigerians, both from male and female category.
So that is a plus for Gyanyango.
Any hope for Nigeria? I'm particular about that.
After 10 years, for someone to get into the top 10, that is a plus. It means that he was able to defeat some Kenyans, he was able to defeat some Ugandans, some Ethiopians, to be able to get into the first 10. Now, the first 10 will get prizes for running. Now, the Nigerian athletes also get a separate prize for the first Nigerian that crosses the line,
yeah.
whether male or female. Now, you're talking about the first Nigerian that crossed the line. He did not only cross the line as the first Nigerian, he also finished within the top 10. So he is within the prize zone of the marathon. And this is a beautiful thing, and it shows that, okay, maybe this is the first decade. At the end of the first decade, a Nigerian got into the top 10. Maybe the second decade, maybe 2 more, maybe 1 more, and maybe with consistent marathon running, then we'll be able to produce people who can run.
Yeah.
Now, the governor, I mean, this is a Lagos thing, and the governor was also there today, and he talked about trying to make it bigger, you know, going forward, that it is time to move it to the next level. It's a gold label race. They were hoping that after this race, they will be able to get the platinum label, so that it will become the first platinum marathon in the whole of Africa.
Okay, so
but that seems a bit
we look
tough
forward
now.
to that. We'll see how that pans out in subsequent competitions.
So
Thanks indeed for that update, Solomon.